I handed someone the worst news of their life, and it's the nicest thing I've ever done. I deliver lawsuit papers for a law firm. When someone doesn't want to be found, they call me. I've never failed to deliver, not once. 3 weeks ago, we got a new client. Some guy in a sports car wanted to sue someone over a car accident. Standard work, I thought. Then I did my research. The person I had to serve was a 22-year-old girl. No savings, no family, working 2 jobs while putting herself through school. Her mother died when she was 6. Her father went to prison when she was 12. She bounced through 7 foster homes before aging out of the system at 18 with nothing but a garbage bag of clothes. Right now, she's living rent to rent, and this lawsuit will be the last push needed to make her homeless. Every time life knocked her down, she got back up, and now some guy in a car worth more than most people's houses wanted to take whatever she had left. I pulled the police report and immediately saw red flags. It said the rich guy had been following her on a residential street, honking and yelling because she was riding her bike, and the firm's client swore she was in the way. When she ignored him, he sped ahead and cut her off. Her bike had no brakes, and she slammed into his car at full speed. He walked away with a dent in his bumper. She shattered her arm. Now he was suing her for damage to his car. The report clearly didn't have the full story. I hated this guy and everything he stood for. My job is great because I get to help ruin people like him. However, this time around things seemed to be going differently. The firm had already cashed his check, and I had a job to do. I dressed down for this one. Jeans, plain jacket, nothing fancy. The girl lived in a gated apartment complex with a broken intercom. I called her cell and said, "Hi, you have a delivery at the front." When she walked out, she was smiling. Not the polite kind you give a stranger, a real smile, like she was genuinely happy to see a random person on a Tuesday afternoon. I told her I wasn't really a delivery guy and broke the news as to why I was actually there. Her face fell. She didn't yell, didn't cry, just stood there nodding slowly like she'd been expecting life to punch her again eventually. Then the words started spilling out. She explained how the night of the accident, she was riding home from her night shift when the rich guy pulled up beside her. He rolled down his window and catcalled her. He said things she didn't want to repeat to me. She explained she kept her eyes forward and pedaled faster to get away from him, but he gunned his engine and cut her off so fast she couldn't stop. "My arm still doesn't bend the way it used to," she said quietly, showing me the scar running from her elbow to her wrist. It made me flinch. She noticed and said, "I had to drop one of my jobs because I can't lift things anymore." She held out her hand to take the papers from me, still polite, still composed, like she'd learned a long time ago that the world wasn't fair and fighting it only made things worse. I handed them over. "Don't worry about this too much," I said. The words felt hollow, but I meant them. I sat in my car for 10 minutes after, staring at the steering wheel. Then I started driving. 40 minutes later, I walked into my boss's office and closed the door. I sat down and told her everything. The girl's story, the accident, what he really did to her. My boss leaned back in her chair. "This isn't the first time," she said quietly. My stomach dropped. "What do you mean? He's done this before. 3 other people in the last 5 years. Same pattern every time. Harasses someone, causes an accident, then sues them for damages. They can't afford lawyers, so insurance pays him out." I stared at her. "You knew this when we took his money?" She met my eyes. "The firm needed the client. I didn't have a choice." She paused. "But that doesn't mean I stopped paying attention." She opened her desk drawer, pulled out a business card, and slid it across the desk without another word. I picked it up. "A lawyer's name. Someone outside our firm." "I can't officially do anything," she said carefully. "But if someone happened to call that number and explain the situation, I imagine they'd find it very interesting." I looked at her and smiled. I called that other lawyer the same afternoon and offered to pay for all the fees, as long as they tell the girl it's pro bono. They got in contact with the girl and helped her file her own lawsuit. When it finally went in front of a judge, she won $500,000. As for the rich guy, his insurance dropped him once an anonymous tip came in regarding the pattern of his accidents. He had to pay the girl out of pocket.